The Uncutt Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Uncutt Podcast with the best intro in podcast history. Those are my boys over there. Oh, no, over there.
That girl.
Wait a point.
Right here.
Keep fucking it up.
This guy?
Robbie.
These
Robbie.
guys.
Look, we even got a Matt Minnick. Matt Minnick blessed us with his presence this week.
Yeah, I know. A rare Minnick appearance. I know. I apologize. Shit is ridiculous, as I've told you guys on the side. I apologize.
So, yeah, Robbie, I think it's really nice that the Grim Reaper let you go long enough to let you show up at our fucking show, bro.
I'm going to admit it, dude. I'm about 60% right now, working towards 70.
Wow.
You look like you're 70. Fuck you mean?
I've been down. I've been out, man, but I'm here.
Robbie had a solid 69% for the show tonight. So
69, that's my lucky number. Thanks.
You are, God, you're the most cliche motherfucker in the world. Anyway,
Really?
Look, guys, let's talk about wrestling. That's why people are here. They're not here for us to talk about Robbie being old and, you know, the fact that he still has a landline. Anyway.
That's not true, by the way, everyone.
You got a beeper still, Robbie. Anyways, Nick.
Somewhere, but not.
His
not
cell phone is like a brick. It's a whole thing. Anyway.
Comes in a bag.
Tonight's guest here to preview Southern Underground Pro's return to Nashville, Tennessee at the Basement East, October 24th. Ladies and gentlemen, ring announcer to the stars, Righteous Jesse's here tonight.
Well, if you're looking for you, motherfucker, you need to go home. Or you can go the fuck home when you get there. I don't care. Just go. Change. You will never change. I didn't even ask for flowers, but I got a walk. Why did you say for everyone you talk? Change. You will never change. Change. You will never change. You will never change. Change. You will never change.
Outstanding. Yeah.
Hello.
Big ups to TJ Vegas for the awesome intro video to Righteous Jesse, all the boys at the indie movement. Also, because I forgot to say it, big up to the Music City Drive-In Podcast Network for hooking us up. So, Jesse, man, how you been?
Man, I have been great. Literally counting down the days for the return show. We did those closed set tapings in March, which were cool, but SUP is not complete without the fans. So I'm super excited to get to next week. God, it's next week. The show is next week. That is insane.
It's what, 10 days? 10 days from today, man.
Yeah.
I think that was what your countdown told me this morning.
Yeah. Every time I do that, I have to Google it because I just can't remember where I left off. And I can't believe that as of tomorrow, Friday, it'll be in the single-digit days, which is wild.
Dude, it is SUP Graps has definitely been an experience to behold. I've been to a couple shows, and that environment in the Basement East, it's like it's dirty and like not the building, but you know what I mean. It's just that dirty, raw underground feel. It almost feels like you're being in there. Just feels like you're watching something you're not supposed to see.
Good,
like Fight Club, like down in the
very
basement.
Much,
Fight
and
Club.
it's just so. Let's start with this, man. What was your introduction into Southern Underground Pro? How did you become the ring announcer and arguably, man, the face of the company?
Well, I appreciate that. So Kevin Koo and I have been friends for a long time. And for a while, when I was still doing my podcast, we were going down to Atlanta for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. And Ku was living in Atlanta at the time. We met up, hung out, and I had told him that I wanted to do like a one-off bar show in Nashville just to see what would happen. Because at the time there was not really like an explosion of like alternative wrestling for like punk kids and hardcore kids and whatever, but like GCW was on the come up, and I don't know, people were just like craving something different. So Ku moved to Nashville, and we decided to give it a shot. We had our first 2 shows at the Cobra in East Nashville, which if you feel a dirty and gritty vibe at Basement East, holy shit, was Cobra an experience. And I was the ring announcer for the first show out of necessity. We didn't have anyone, and we couldn't afford anyone. So I was just I don't have many moments in life where I can say that I realized, like, it was just a perfect realization. I was standing in the ring, I had a microphone in my hand. It was a dimly lit, kind of gross room, and I was like, oh, this is a hardcore show. I've played dozens of these. So then I just, did everything like I was playing a hardcore show, and a few people seem to like it, so that's kind of cool.
Well, let's talk about like your wrestling fandom. How did you get into professional wrestling? How did you become a fan? What were your favorite promotions, wrestlers, etc.?
Let's see. So I've been watching wrestling for literally as long as I can remember. I don't remember the exact match, but my first actual memory of watching wrestling was just seeing Sting. And oddly enough, I've never been the biggest Sting fan. From there, I just watched literally anything I could, whether it was WWF, WCW, ECW. When TNA was a thing, I went to NWA TNA like every week. Through that, found USA Championship Wrestling, was going to NWA Main Event, USWO, run by Tony Falk. What else, man? If I could find a local promotion and convince my parents to take me, Brett Eisen and I would go. So when my parents split, we found some promotion, I think I want to say Gallatin, Tennessee. I can't remember the name of it. There was a guy named Desperado.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
We went to that, and that was like, man, that would have been like 2002, maybe. Yeah, it would have been before TNA. Yeah, I've been watching wrestling for as long as I can remember. It's probably my earliest memory in life is just watching wrestling, and then we got hooked on backyard wrestling and independent wrestling, and we would just sit in the grocery store and read PWIs and shit for hours on end.
College.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think I've spent that much time learning anything else in my life, and I still don't get paid enough in wrestling. So,
no
ditto.
True, no one does.
So shout out to Surfer Sting too. Real quick though, since you were talking about like your earliest wrestling memories and things like that, with you being an announcer, it's going to be more of a 2-part question. Who do you think is the greatest announcer of all time, and who do you think is one of the most underrated besides yourself?
Oh, I definitely wouldn't throw myself on the underrated or overrated. I'd probably leave myself off of every list. Truthfully, I grew up listening to Jim Ross all the time. And at a certain point, I probably would have said Jim Ross was my favorite. But I think I've grown into more of a Tony Schiavone guy the more I watch AEW. I always loved him on Nitro and WCW programming. But I'd probably say my 2 favorites are Tony Schiavone and Mike Tenay. And I feel like Mike Tenay is probably one of the more underrated commentators in wrestling. Ring announcer-wise, Rich Palladino is probably my guy. Like, Rich Palladino is like the pinnacle of like a professional ring announcer to me, and has given me a lot of wonderful advice, critiques, and really when I went up to Beyond a few years ago, I got to sit with him and pick his brain, and he's a fucking ECW guy. Like, he worked for ECW. Getting to sit there and talk to him was like just the most mind-blowing experience, and he's such a nice guy. We sat there and just crushed beers while we were waiting for that huge, I think it was like a 5-on-5 elimination tag at one of the Beyond Thanksgiving shows, and just sharing duties with him was awesome. And like I said, he gave a lot of wisdom to me that he didn't have to give me the time of day, and he was an absolute dream. And I'd say that Rich is my favorite ring announcer, like hands down.
All right.
So before we get into the upcoming show, what are your favorite memories, maybe favorite matches or whatever, from the previous couple of years of SUP Graps?
One of the more emotional ones was when Marco won the belt. When Marco Stunt won the championship, that was really cool because at that point, I feel like Marco was just getting like thrown around and shit. Nobody was like, and I'm not trying to take credit for any of his success because that's all him. Super proud of the guy. But I feel like aside from like maybe, I think it's Cape Championship Wrestling where he was wrestling before, aside from them, nobody was really giving him a chance to actually do what he could do. And then we put the belt on him. And once you meet Marco, like, you know, he's a star. You know, he's just got that energy and that personality. He's very personable. Seeing him win the title was really cool. His last match at SUP, as emotional as it was, is one of my favorite memories. What else? The rise of Cabana Man Dan in SUP. A guy who I feel like should be making a shit ton of money from wrestling. Watching him grow in SUP and even outside of SUP has been really cool. When we had Joey Janela there, that was a lot of fun. He was really cool. The song he did about Kurt Stallion's tiny ass dick was cool. What else, man? There's a lot. Like, it's funny. I was actually at work today thinking about all the stuff that we had done in the past, and sometimes I feel like we've only been around for like a year, and then I realized I think we're coming up on 4 years. I think. O'Shea Edwards and AJ Gray, hands down one of my favorite matches. I can't remember what show that's from, but they beat the absolute shit out of each other. And then like bringing in Nick Gage, getting to hang out with Nick, everything positive you hear about Nick is 1,000,000% true. He is just a fucking treasure of a human being. And just getting to like drive him around and bullshit with him all day was incredible. And he was just great for the locker room. Everybody, you know, went up and talked to him, got advice. Just super great dude. So that's off the top of the head, without watching anything recently, those would be some of my favorite memories from SUP.
Well, speaking about Nick Gage, I just recently got to watch The Dark Side of the Ring, and man, that guy has had a crazy career and a crazy life, man.
Yeah,
some crazy stuff. But man, what a spectacle he is. I got a question for you, kind of out there. If you could commentate from any match in the past, or ring announce for a mini match from the past, what would it be?
Oh man. Man, that's a tough one.
Shout out to my boy Francisco Bruno who helped me with that question.
Yeah, that's a hell of a question.
Damn good.
Man, fucking stumped me.
Sorry.
So part of me wants to go with something from if I could go back in time and come and ring announce for anything, this is, I don't know if anybody else would ever say this, or who all remembers this, but if I could ring announce for anything specifically, it would have been the Hard 10 tournament from NWA TNA when they had all the ECW guys come in, because that is such a weird, just like mesh of like my childhood into like me realizing that, hey, maybe I could be involved in this, and just like meeting some of those ECW guys and how cool they were. If I could ring announce for anything, I know that's kind of a broad answer. I can't remember every match they had, but like some of those matches were fucking wild, sitting like front row for them. So if I could go back and ring announce, it would probably just be that whole tournament.
Awesome, man.
So
it's such a crazy concept.
Here's going to be a little bit of a funny one for you. Now, you can have your choice with either one on this one too, like the last question before. Give me a funny story or a story that you might not know about either Danhausen or a friend of the show, Alex Kane.
I don't know how funny this is, but it is kind of an interesting Danhausen story. So he was semi-regular at SUP for a while, and if I'm not mistaken, SUP was the first place he had painted his face, and he actually messaged me, I think the day before or the day of one of the shows, and asked if he could paint his face. And I was like, yeah, like, you're an independent contractor. You can literally do whatever you want. And that's when he did the They Live inspired face paint. And then we see what happened from there. He did at SUP, I know he did They Live. I think he did a Twin Peaks Laura Palmer like entrance, which kind of went over most of the crowd's head.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was weird. I probably wouldn't have even known if he wouldn't have said anything. And then, if I'm not mistaken, he did I think he did it at SUP. I think he did either a tribute for the band Integrity or maybe the band Converge, or maybe he like mashed them up. But yeah, he started painting his face at SUP, if I'm not mistaken. I know he like one of the first bigger ones he did was at SUP.
That's
and
awesome.
Love that Dan Helsing. Love that guy.
Wonderful housing of a guy.
Very nice, very evil, very doesn't answer my emails. I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway. So you had a couple matches yourself at SUP, including, I mean, you and Tank was brutal. Friend of the show, Tank. We love Tank.
Love Tank.
But man, you and Brett was maybe one of the more emotional things I've seen. I wasn't actually at that show, but just watching it on IWTV Live was fucking wild. What do you remember about your emotions going into that match, during the match, and I'm sure after the match? Because I know a lot of times that's when everything finally comes together.
Oh man. So usually whenever I'm like in the ring, I pretty much tone everything out except for the crowd noise. But I remember, like that goes for ring announcing, anything. But I specifically remember being in the ring and Brett just beating the shit out of me. And I can hear Carrie Awful on commentary sounding like Terry Funk saying, "That's your brother, Brett. That's your brother." I remember that. I remember, I'd say within the first, it was supposed to be a dog collar match. I remember within the first 5 minutes, we broke the dog collar.
Yeah.
And then I remember about 6 months of the worst headaches of my life after that match from the concussions that I got.
That man throws bombs.
Yeah, and he throws chairs like a motherfucker too.
Yeah.
I just remember being in the ring and like I'm generally a pretty anxious person, but I just remember being on like 1,000 before we even touched. And like I'm pretty sure you can see it. I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm pretty sure you can just see me like I don't stop moving. And then he really just beat the shit out of me. And I remember I'm gonna peel the curtain back here, but we were like in front of the crowd, and that room was so crowded and so small, and there's no separation between you and the fans. And like when you're that close, you got to be really good at calling shit so they don't hear you. And I was like, I'm not that great at that. So I just yelled what I was going to do and fucking headbutted him as hard as I could. And then he got me back, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with that shit. Fuck that. And then post-match, a coworker of mine at the time came to most of the SUP shows, but he came to that one, and he had an improv show after, and I promised him I would go. And I was fucked up after that match. So I went, and about halfway through the show, I started feeling like really hot and like nauseous. And I thought when I got to the comedy club, I got like a boiled hot dog. Like I straight up got wrestling concessions at the improv club. So I just had to eat something. I ate that and I was like, man, did that hot dog not settle right? So I'm like it was like February. I'm taking off my hoodie in this like fucking hot, tiny room. And I'm like trying not to throw up. After the show, I immediately make a beeline for the door, say bye to some friends at their car who parked next to me. They leave. I immediately throw my car door open and fucking just violently vomit. My girlfriend's phone was dead, and she was out getting dinner with some people after the show. And I remember driving home and losing consciousness, like going in and out of consciousness because I was so concussed. Finally get home, and she gets home, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I have a really bad concussion. Like 100%. And she was like, "Well, how do you know?" And I was like, "Well, I was like falling asleep driving." And I've never had that happen before with a concussion. And I threw up a lot and this and that. She was like, do you need to go to the hospital? I was just like, fuck no. I just don't need to go to sleep for a while.
Good self-diagnosis there, man.
Yeah. had a few of those guys, and that one was the worst by far. But in my book, it was 100% worth it because that story alone is one of my favorite things I've ever done in SUP. And just like Brett's arc from there, where he was like the killer, finally started to show a little bit of humanity, but was still a killer. And now, like, I'm sad to see that dude like possibly step away. Like that hurts.
So you ring announced first, and then you eventually got into wrestling here recently.
So actually, Brett and I trained together when we were in high school. We backyard wrestled with some friends from school, and then we just did a bunch of dumb shit. And we would pass out flyers for our backyard wrestling shows, and nobody would come. But one of the girls we went to school with, I think it was her uncle, was a local wrestler where we lived in Laverne, like the Laverne, Smyrna area. He was a wrestler, so he came and watched us and was basically like, let us train you guys so you don't get hurt. They gave us a couple matches and like trained us, and we trained in his front yard. And we'd have to set up the ring, dead of summer, set up the ring, tear it down every single time. And that was I think we were freshmen. So that would have been like 2003 or 4. Yeah, we were freshmen, 2003 or 4. We did that. And then I was in and out for a while. I didn't really get serious about anything and like doing wrestling until we started SUP. And that was, I don't even remember when the fuck we started SUP now, 2017 maybe. But aside from the podcast I used to do, I wasn't serious about anything in wrestling. It was just fun for me. So I would watch, and then through, hey cat.
Okay, that's yours. I was looking her up for mine.
I was like, shut that cat up, Nick.
Through the podcast that we did, I got to meet a lot of cool people, and then do, like I said, commentary for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. And then SUP started, and that's when everything really took off for me, was through SUP. It was, I hate to give Kid Rock like any like rub, but it was kind of like Kid Rock couldn't get signed, so he started his own record label. Nobody in Nashville would do what we wanted to do, so we did it ourselves. And then luckily for me, other people kind of liked what I did and would either book me for commentary or ring announcing. And outside of SUP and Crux, I haven't wrestled anywhere. Well, in the last like 10 years. I don't have it in me to wrestle anymore. The story with Brett was special. I wanted to do it in Nashville where we grew up, like literally getting fist fights like 3 to 4 times a week, just to have our own story. And I knew if he absolutely wrecked me at SUP, that would establish him as a heel. And I mean, at that point, he was well on his way anyway. But him like just decimating me really drove that nail in. But yeah, outside of SUP and Crux, I don't wrestle anymore. The last match I had was a tag team death match with Carrie against MattTremont and Biff. But yeah, there was a weird like in and out. I would ring announce or do commentary, maybe have a match, back to ring announcing or commentary. It was a real weird path for a while.
So with you mentioning, going from backyard wrestling to getting into the professional side of it, what would you say? Oh, damn it, I had a whole question just lined up. Where is it? Where'd it go? Sorry, I've been smoking a little bit here. Oh, crap. Okay, yep, there it is. What do you think was one of the hardest or the biggest adjustments transitioning from more of that backyard style to more of the professional in-ring?
So in backyard wrestling, I mean, I've always been really drawn to deathmatch wrestling. As soon as I saw, the hardcore wrestling in ECW, I was hooked. Loved all the WWF hardcore stuff, even though it was night and day from ECW. Then I found CZW and some Japanese deathmatch wrestling, and that really changed a lot of stuff for me. That's all I wanted to do in the backyard. When we started training, I was smaller, so they wanted me to fly around, and like I like cruiserweights and all that, but when I actually started training, I wanted to be more submission-based and more technical than anything. And they pretty much pushed me to do like a hybrid between like a Jeff Hardy moveset and an Eddie Guerrero move set, and like that just wasn't me. I'm not built to fucking fly around. So that was probably the biggest transition, just like having somebody be like, this is what you're gonna do. And I couldn't do it. I wasn't built for it. I tried. I gave somebody a swanton bomb and somehow punched them in the crotch. So I think that should have been a telltale sign that I wasn't meant to be a cruiserweight.
Yeah, the old
that's like
do that.
That's like another way of calling you a new innovator of violence, right?
The
The
swanton nut punch.
Now I want to see somebody like do that on purpose.
I don't think I could have
Superman
ever done
dick
that on
punch.
purpose. It was perfect.
I just feel like Ninja Mac should do like a 630 punch to the dick now, and I just want that.
Ninja Mac, goddamn, that dude is just. I watch him and I can't comprehend how his body moves like that. It's wild.
No, just the triple handspring corkscrew sunset bomb. Anyway,
He's a glitch. He's a glitch, man.
The man's not human. I say that about a lot of people, but there's no way. Were you at OWL? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, holy
Okay.
shit. Yeah, I did 2 or 3 shows there.
Yeah, because me and
Wow.
JC just talk about those guys all the time. Like that's like the running joke is that. And then, sorry guys, you guys are not going to understand this next part. When
That place
Ghetto
was
J,
wild.
when Ghetto J got locked up, he was locked up with Slacker J, who trained to be in JC, and it was just hilarious.
Man,
But-
I remember wrestling Falcon there, and having a tag team match with, I think my partner. God, I want to say his name was just Convict, and his finishing move was a reverse choke slam.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't shock me at all.
Yeah, that place was fun. I've actually told a few people about that place, and like nowadays, it's really not that foreign of a concept. You had like pretty good backyard wrestlers mixed with like indie guys that just wanted to wrestle, and like I don't know, like I had a lot of fun there. I still have video of a match where I think it was that tag team match where like me and Convict wrestled like 2 Juggalo kids, and one of their dads was heckling the shit out of me, and I'm pretty sure he called me a sawed-off son of a bitch. But he was like shit faced, like completely trashed, and just had like the best voice in the world.
I really wish I had more of the stuff they did at USWO. I just had that one match I put on YouTube that I think I sent to you.
Yeah,
because those guys, Tony used them for all they were worth, and like, hey, we'll put you on to the main event, but you all have to bring 10 people each.
God, I live pretty close to that where like Harris Street where USWO was, and I was telling my girlfriend about it. We drove down there one day. I don't remember if that building's there anymore or not, but every now and then I'll see Tony at the gym, and me and Heater will go to the gym, or we were going to the gym for a while, and we'd see Tony, and he would talk to us, and it was just Tony's the fucking best. I love Tony Falk.
Yeah, I'm fingers crossed. I'm working on trying to get him on here, so
that would be awesome. I feel like Tony's got a lot.
I know when when we got kicked out because LT broke his ankle, and he wasn't supposed to be wrestling in that building anyway because he was 16. It turned into a Mexican dance club for a couple years.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, all backyard wrestling and USWO memories aside,
God.
let's talk about True Believers.
Let's do it.
And before we get into that, I know I put it out on Twitter. We did say we had a major announcement, and the major announcement is this: True Believers is now sponsored by your boys at the Uncutt podcast.
Ayo.
That's us. So yeah, man, we'll be there. I'll be there. Robbie and Minnick, apparently it's too far to drive. But for me,
I'll be
it's
there
like
in
20 minutes. So I'll be there.
Especially long for him.
You can make it. You'll be fine. So, flights are cheap these days.
Not for him.
Man. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, man. So sponsored by the Uncutt podcast, True Believers. I've got the match card here. I want to make sure that I don't screw anything up because I try not to do that. But let's talk about the match that just got announced. I think it was yesterday maybe. Isaiah Broner, who just fucking killed it with Justin Kyle a couple of weeks ago at ICW No Holds Barred, taking on, I think, maybe the favorite son of SUP Graps right now. Like a dude that's insanely over. Started out with like a, kind of lackey heel gimmick and just got the fuck over in Jaden Newman, man.
Man. Yeah, Jaden's story in SUP is really interesting. He was a part of like the whole Jocks thing, and then like had that crazy feud with Manders that was just like batshit crazy. And like he is somebody that I feel like on any given day can either be your favorite wrestler or your most hated wrestler, just depending on whatever the fuck he wants to do. He's got an incredible ability to just control the crowd however he pleases. And Isaiah is somebody that I've heard a lot about. I've seen a little bit of, but admittedly I haven't been keeping up with as much on the indies lately. But I trust everybody at SUP. If they have enough trust in you to come and deliver at SUP in the Basement East, then I'm ready to see you. I'm ready to see you tear the house down. And Jaden is a hell of a test in that building.
Yeah, dude. Broner it's going to be a huge babyface against a big meaty man who's going to slap some meat.
And Jaden, I feel like Jaden secretly just loves getting the shit kicked out of him because like he always ends up in just like fucking fights almost, but like he doesn't back down. The kid has zero quit in him, so I will be very interested to see how this one goes.
Well, this is Broner's first match, right? His debut here,
yep.
And it's up. So he got a lot of pressure on him. I mean, or who has the more pressure? I mean, you look at Newman, and he's been around, he's established, right? So he's really got more to lose than the guy making his debut, wouldn't you say?
I mean, Jaden can't go into this, just trying to write off Broner. He's got to come correct. And, I think Broner knows, right out of the gate, this is a new place. This is a completely different atmosphere than anywhere else in wrestling. Like you're just not going to get this crowd anywhere else. You're not going to get the atmosphere, the attitude. If they love you, they are with you until the end of time. If they hate you, God damn it, you will know they hate you. He's got to come in and get acclimated to that really quick while Jaden is, doing everything he can to throw him off his game and, try to get the win. But I don't know who's got more pressure. Like I said, Jaden can't just try to write Broner off, and Broner's got to come in. And I feel like almost just like not even pay attention to the crowd. He's just got to focus on Jaden. But at the same time, that is a crowd you have to pay attention to because you could have them 1 minute and then the next they just absolutely hate you. Jaden knows that better than anyone.
But with that though, with that whole card, what's the match that you're most excited for though?
I think, and I mean this is going to show a lot of bias, but I think it's Brett versus Ashton Starr. Ashton is somebody that I, when I was doing commentary for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, I would see Ashton down there periodically and throughout Georgia. And Ashton is somebody who's grown tremendously over the last few years as a professional wrestler. And that was a handpicked opponent by Brett. That was somebody on Brett's list before he steps away, either indefinitely or permanently. So knowing that Brett wants to fight Ashton makes me know that Brett is going to bring a whole new level of violence. And I sincerely hope that Ashton is ready for that. I know Ashton is probably equally as excited for the match, but it might be time to push that excitement away and just, get tunnel vision and realize, like, 1, this is going to hurt. 2, this is going to fucking suck. And 3, I cannot let this dude get me down because he is just going to stomp me out.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for Ashton in a way because, like, I mean, theoretically, I think Brett's been thinking about fighting AJ Gray.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say wrestling. I said he's thinking about fighting AJ Gray.
Yeah.
And now it's Ashton. And I think that match, that's got the potential to be fucking insane. The one that I'm kind of picturing as the show stealer, though, was actually the first match that got announced. The one that had me like, okay, like if there was ever a doubt of going, it was gone. Cole Radrick versus fucking Daniel Makabe.
Man,
it's
that match. Cole's one of those people that has a very special gift where I feel like he can do anything in a wrestling ring. Whatever the style calls for, he can do it. And Makabe he calls himself the wrestling genius, and I don't disagree with that at all. I hung out with him a bunch in Tampa, and just hearing the way he talks about wrestling, I've never heard anybody talk about wrestling the way he does, the way he views it, the way he approaches it. And Radrick is just probably one of the hungriest people in wrestling right now. Any opportunity he's given, he makes the most of. And that's one that I think a lot of people are like, okay, this will be good, but I don't think they realize how good it has the potential to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I said this privately to the guys earlier when we were kind of prepping. I think Makabe, Moriarty's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Garcia is really, really good. Daniel Makabe is right up there with them.
Yep.
And on some level, I kind of think he might be better.
No, again, my bias may show, but I agree. I love Garcia. I love Lee. Maybe it's just because I've witnessed more growth in person from Makabe. Fun fact, Garcia is somebody that I've wanted in SUP for a very long time. There were brief talks at one point with some of the Buffalo guys. We just couldn't make it work out at the time. But Garcia, shouts out to him and Lee for doing awesome and huge things. But I am super happy to have Makabe back for the return show at SUP. That dude is he's unreal.
Robbie, let me jump in real quick before you ask.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Speaking on that and elaborating a little bit more, besides for him, who's some other people that you would like to see come to SUP potentially?
There's a guy in the Northeast that wrestles for Beyond and Create a Pro named Slade. Huge fan of Slade. He's a fucking maniac.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Now that he's back, I don't know how back he is, but MattTremont is somebody that I've always wanted in SUP. I have nothing but the most respect for Tremont, and I don't know. There's just a different level of connectability to MattTremont. He's your friend. He's a guy that you've known your whole life, but he's also one of the most violent men in wrestling. And he's also one of the most giving men in wrestling. But MattTremont in SUP is something that I would really love. PCO, I think I put that out last night or this morning. I would love for PCO to be in SUP.
Everybody.
Even just once. That dude is a fucking maniac. Of course, Garcia. Kevin Blackwood. Huge fan of Kevin Blackwood. I think he just recently relocated to the West Coast, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down any opportunities he's getting, which is awesome to see. I feel like I'm leaving someone out. I'm sure I am. There's a bunch of people I've always wanted to see in SUP. Yeah, those are the ones that right off the top of my head. It's kind of funny to me that I went for Slade first, but I had just I just read a tweet about something he did at the Beyond show tonight, and I was like, yeah, that checks out. He's a lunatic, so he's wild.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, well, let's talk about this tag team match where we got a person that we're pretty well acquainted with, the suplex assassin Alex Kane and Damian Tangra. We know about those guys, well, at least Alex Kane, but can you give us a little insight into their opponents, members only?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they are graduates from the AIW Academy out of Cleveland, Ohio. That being said, that academy produces some of the best students, people that have no right to be as good as they are for as short a time as they've been in wrestling. We've had a number of those students come through. Dominic Reedy is an AIW student, turned teacher. Dr. Dan was a student, I believe, turned coach. Who else? Maserati Wes Barkley, Josh Bishop. That academy just pumps out killers left and right. So in a weird way, I feel like SUP has always been the next step for some AIW kids, because Dom obviously comes down from Cleveland, so they'll just hop in the car with him, and they get a real good chance to just sink or swim. Basically, if it doesn't work here, well, then you found out real quick, on to the next, and you just improve it. Admittedly, I've not seen much from those guys. I've seen some gifts from some AIW shows, but I've seen John Thorne put them over huge, and for Thorne to make an effort to just single you out and put you over, I feel like speaks volumes. But Suplex Science, Damian Tangra, and Alex Kane, those dudes individually are just forces of nature. Together, they are fucking an F10 tornado.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. So members only definitely have their work cut out for them, but coming from basically a school that just breeds killers, I think they'll be fine.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely got me looking forward to the Alex Kane, Damian Tangra versus Violence is Forever match. I need that in my blood. But members only, somebody that, we're going to get familiar with. I tend to think of myself as knowing a little bit about indie wrestling, just a smidge. Obviously, we all know Cabana Man Dan. I mean, motherfucker's been around for 20 years, and he still looks like he's 25 years old. It's ridiculous.
Jealous.
And just an insane athlete. For once, I'm going to admit this, I'm not super familiar with Brandon Williams, though.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what do I need to know before I get down to the Basement East, man?
So for a while, I was doing commentary for New South Wrestling in Alabama, and Brandon Williams was somebody who was really cutting his teeth down there. He is a technician. He is very technically sound. He's called the Locksmith, and he's a dude to keep your eye on over the next year. It seems like he's branching out more. I believe he's done some action shows and some other stuff. Paradigm Pro, I believe. He's definitely one to keep your eyes on. He's very technically sound. He's like, I don't want to say unassumingly good, but like, he's a very chill guy. So when you're like just hanging out talking to him and then you see him in the ring, it's like that cliche of like the switch flipped. I've seen him just tie people up. One of my favorite things is he comes to the ring with like a chain with a lock on it. And I don't know why that's just so aesthetically pleasing to me, but I love it. And he's a great dude, and he's just, like I said, he's so technically sound, and him and Dan know each other very well. So I think this is going to be it's his first time in SUP, Brandon's. So I think this is a great introduction. He's gonna go against a pillar of SUP in the return show with fans. And Brandon is somebody who, just speaking with him periodically, he understands what this is. He understands what he's got to do. And he understands that he has to literally come with everything in his arsenal. He can't just be like, oh, yeah, this is my friend Dan. We're going to have a fun wrestling match. He's literally got to try to beat Dan, and he knows that.
Well, from what I understand, this guy's been a baby face, a big-time baby face, but recently he's been kind of like pulling the cheat card a little bit, crossing those lines. If you could just tell us a little bit what you think makes a good baby face in this business.
Oh man, Ricky Morton. No, I mean, a big thing in wrestling to me is connectability. You don't have to be like the best wrestler in the world. Obviously, knowing your basics and how to move around in a ring helps a lot. But if you can connect, then you've got a whole world in front of you. Connecting and selling, and just being able to let things register. Being a heel, on the other hand, is just Atticus Cogar. You can't give a fuck. You have to go out there and you have to know, like, these people are going to want to cheer me because they think I'm cool, and I can't feed into that. And I think it's awesome that Atticus is, like, one of the few that will just thrive on being hated. And even when you try to show him love, he will shut you down. So I think just, like, if you want it, I always thought it would be really hard to be a babyface. Because you almost have to care too much. I feel like you have to physically show.
So you're saying that's like you really got to act.
yeah. You really have to act. You really have to put on. And I mean, for some people it's natural. Some people really do care that much. Other people, when they're like, I'm pretty sure we all know, like, sometimes promoters are like, all right, you're turning heel, you're a babyface, whatever, Sometimes you've never done that. Sometimes you've always been one or the other, and then you have to completely rethink your whole wrestling existence and go out there and reinvent yourself on the fly. Brandon is somebody from the hardcore scene, much like myself. So he's seen some really shitty things, some things that you like carry with you for the rest of your life that you never wanted to see. So I think if he taps into that and pulls, a little pocket sand, or maybe pulls out that chain, whatever he's got to do. Like, I don't not condone cheating. I mean, a win is a win, and in SUP, all matches are referee's discretion. So theoretically, he could blast Dan with that lock and chain, just straight up clock him in the head. The ref could just be like, yeah, he did that. pin 1, 2, 3, and he wins. Or you could catch I don't know who's going to ref that match. Whoever gets assigned to it, you can catch him on an off day. He sees the chain, sees the hit, disqualified. I love and hate that because it's like I still view wrestling as a fight. So I am more inclined to just let shit go. But sometimes I do like when that tradition is enforced.
Yeah.
Fair. So I'm going to circle back a little bit to our earlier conversation here because you bring up, some of the concussions and some of getting the bell rung and some of the other physical injuries that you've had. This is going to be a little bit more of that deeper style question that I've thrown to some people in our past. What do you think is harder to handle and deal with being on that side of the business? Is it the physical injuries, especially with some of the shit that you've had to go through, or is it some of the mental wear and tear and mental anguish that you have to deal with by dealing with some of those things too?
I would like to think at this point, after the last 6 months that I've had, physical pain is like whatever. I would say it's the mental side for me. And not even necessarily with the pain. Like before COVID, I had been locked in to ring announce Joey Janela's spring break in Tampa, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I remember finding out, telling one of my best friends, and being like, this isn't going to happen. I just knew it wasn't going to happen. Sometimes you just know something for whatever reason, and then COVID hit and it got taken away, and I was crushed. That would have been the biggest opportunity I had. Injuries are injuries. Being put on the shelf really sucks. But I think that's when people really hit that make or break. You could either let it break you, or you can take all that time that you have to figure out what you need to fix or figure out ways to stay relevant. And granted, in a COVID era, it is a little more difficult because there are more restrictions on who can be there, and whatnot. But for me, the harder side of things was like during COVID, I stepped away from New South and pretty much everywhere, and I wasn't doing much of anything. I think I did. What did I do? I did a handful of shows. I did the Collective in Indianapolis. I did a handful of stuff in Tampa, and then I did those closed set SUP shows. And a huge thing for me was the amount of work that I put in such a short period of time, and all the recognition that I was getting. That all stopped real quick. And for a while it fucked with me real hard, but over the last few months I've really come to terms with it. And it's funny, one thing that really helped was that music video you guys had put together. There was a lot of digging for that video. There was a lot of clips from Voices of the Underground, which was the IWTV micro content I was doing. That just kind of I was worried about all the hard work I put in being forgotten. So seeing that just let me know that it's still out there. It's still relatively easily accessible. You still have to dig, but it's there. But yeah, the hardest part for me was just like, there were so many long drives and literally getting home 30 minutes before I had to be at work and going into work, sleeping maybe 2 hours the whole weekend, not knowing how I was going to make it through the day. There was just a lot of that. And then going into, COVID where there was no wrestling. And then when things did start back up, the people that found ways to stay consistent really got a lot of shine. And I'm super happy for all of them, like J Rose and Emil and everybody who found a way to shine through, pandemic era wrestling. But yeah, that was the hardest struggle for me. It was just being like, man, everybody's going to forget what I did. And that sucks because I put in a lot of time. But now I don't think that's the case. I think every now and then somebody will stumble across a video I did, and I think that's really cool. There was a lot of growing over the last 6 months, and I'm just happy to be back in the Basement East with all those fans. That is what makes me happy in wrestling now.
I'm going to double in on my question real quick, Nick.
Sure.
You can jump back in on it.
What a whore.
One more. This is my last turn in the card on this one. If you were to sit here and have somebody who was wanting to get in front of the business or get into the business, let's say Robbie's trying to get his old ass into the business right now. What is the one piece of advice, especially on everything you just elaborated on, that you would want to tell somebody like that?
make sure your skin is as thick as possible, because people will say the worst shit to you on the internet because there's no real repercussions. I've literally had people say some of the absolute worst shit to me, and yeah, it messed with me for a while, but then I just let it go. And just be persistent. You're going to get a lot of no's or a lot of no responses. Once you find a way in, you're good. You can learn any skill that you need to learn. I was ring announcing for SUP, and then I really wanted to try my hand at commentary. I was fortunate enough to be able to do double duty for SUP. A few people liked what I did on commentary. I started getting booked more places. Networking is huge. I've never been one to play, the networking game, but when you meet like-minded people in wrestling, it makes it a lot easier. So just, on an advice front, have thick skin because you're gonna need it. Maybe don't pay too much attention to what the internet says, because you have to remember that in wrestling, the internet is such a small corner. There are so many people that watch wrestling that never even tweet. And then just be persistent, be respectful, be persistent, and just be a good person, be a good person, do good work, and you'll get noticed eventually. It might take forever, but you'll get noticed. You see it happening now all the time, like J Rose is like all over the place, and he's one of the nicest dudes I've ever met, one of the most genuine people I've ever met. And he's literally, I think he was like in California one week and New York the next, and he literally learned every skill he could from video. I think his like catchphrase is like, "I don't bump, but if I need to learn, I will." He really is a Swiss Army knife. So just make sure that toolbox is full, and don't quit. Just keep going if that's what you really want.
So, speaking of the return to the Basement East, I know we've gone through almost the whole announced card, but let's talk about probably the biggest match on the show. I think the one at least that's been building for the longest. That's Derek Neal versus one called Manders in the hoss fight of the fucking hoss fights,
Dude,
man.
They just rebuilt that building, and I think at least a wall is going to get taken out. Like, those are two big boys, and they both hit real fucking hard, and there's no love lost there, and I think it's just going to be boots to asses the whole time. I'm fucking so excited for that match. Derek Neal is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. Manders is incredible. And in a weird way, they just click so well. Like, they have such a good chemistry together. Their dynamic just works perfectly. So I think when they finally get in there and they just get to hammer the shit out of each other, it's going to be magic. I'm super excited.
So you're talking about it's going to be the climax of a pretty big feud, right?
Yeah, they they interacted at the closed set tapings. I believe Derek costed Manders a pretty big match, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Derek, you talk about Dan being around for a long time. Derek is somebody that's been around for a very long time as well.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Yeah,
I remember Boy.
God. Just seeing him grow, like the long haired Derek as opposed to like the hair he used to have, like it's such a transformation. And he's somebody that we wanted in SUP for a while. It just didn't line up for whatever reason, and now he's here, and it makes me so happy because Derek is somebody that should have. I don't understand why Derek's not like in an ICW No Holds Barred or a GCW or a Beyond or anywhere like that. I feel like Derek has the capability to be a huge star anywhere. Hey, NWA, why don't you just go ahead and fucking sign him?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect fit. But Manders, Manders is somebody who's, he's had the bright spotlights, being at GCW and all these other places. He's had these high profile matches in a relatively short period of time. So in a way, I feel like Derek is kind of a measuring stick for somebody like Manders, where Derek kind of helped pave the way for, the modern cowboys of independent wrestling. And if you can run through Derek, then goddamn it, you could probably run through just about anyone.
I'm really hoping. I'm going to the ICW No Holds Barred show next month in Chattanooga, and I'm just like, please, Danny, just Derek's right there, man. It's
Just
right
make it
there.
happen.
Just let him get in the pit, please.
I would love that. I'll see you there, by the way. I'm going to go hang
Awesome,
out
dude.
at least one of
That'll
those.
be rad.
Yeah.
By all means, Nick, you can ask a question. I've been piggybacking everything, so I pretty much ran.
I mean, I just want to make sure so that at the end of the show we're going to have Incarnation Gauntlet too, right?
Oh.
It's the best. It's the best reaction I've ever gotten to a question.
Was that a stinky question, Nick?
No, that was the perfect question.
The Incarnation
You guys
Gauntlet.
have IWTV now. Go look up Incarnation Gauntlet and just watch Jesse's face throughout the show. Just like we're doing what?
It worked
Okay.
way better than it had any right to. When Dylan was explaining it to us, we were just like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is not real. Like, I don't understand how a sober person came up with this idea. This 100% sounds like something I would have came up with, but it worked, and it actually worked really well. And quite a few people actually said it was one of their favorite things that we had put out, and that shocked the shit out of me.
It was easily one of my favorite moments of Pandemic Wrestling.
It turned out to be a lot of fun. We kind of
anyone uninformed, by the way, it was a gauntlet match where there was 15 matches, and they all had a different stipulation.
Oh dear God!
It was wild.
And you listen to it. It was like Jesse was saying. You listen to that idea, and you're like, "This is going to be either brilliant or awful." And I'm here for it either way.
Yeah,
mad scientist wrestling.
I
really
literally
was.
by the end of it was like, some of that was okay, but just on a concept, I was like, this is genius. This needs to happen more. By God.
So I think my favorite thing about it is, like, rather than squeeze it into a show, it was just a standalone show. And I don't think it would have worked as well if you would have put it like if you insert the Incarnation Gauntlet into a show. I don't think it works. No. I think it kind of has to be a standalone thing. And I don't know. Maybe it happens again. Like I said, oddly enough, when I will never fucking forget seeing that notebook and just trying to read everything, and I thought I was going to have an aneurysm.
Like stress, like I'm going to die right now.
Yeah, like I just remember standing there, and there was a group of us, and we just could not wrap our head around it. And Dylan simplified it the best he could. He goes, "This is going to happen. Then it's done. And this person's going to be in the ring. And this is the stipulation. And this is who they're wrestling. It's done. This person stays. Stipulation. Next person in. This is the match. Done." And I was just like, all right. We don't. It's formatted. It's got to happen. So everybody's here. We're going to do it, and it happened.
And
it
we
definitely
got
happened.
Kane versus Bastard Cassidy out of it, which just kind of made my life that day.
Man, Bastard Cassidy, he's a fucking unit of a human being.
That guy, the son of Pac and Orange Cassidy, Bastard Cassidy.
God, I got to call his first match, and it was, I think the best first match I've ever seen anybody have. I don't think he could have had a better first match, and like that's not saying like that was pretty good for your first match. Like it was just a fucking good match, and it just so happened to be his first match. Like that kid's just got it. I don't know what it is, but he's got it.
All right, I kind of got an out there question for you. If you could be a partner, if you could have a commentating partnership with any other person who's non-wrestling, another sports commentator.
Speaking of the mic, Grandpa.
Oh, sorry.
There's a microphone.
Oh, another. If you could if you could commentate on a match with another co-host from another sport besides wrestling in the sports world, who would it be?
Ooh,
famous commentator.
Damn. So I'm not really a sports guy. So
Madden.
Shit, honestly I wasn't even thinking of that. Like that name never even entered my brain. But I guess by default it would be Madden to make this more interesting and not just a cop out. I'll say
boom.
Oh yeah, Tough Actington acted. Yeah, that guy. To make this not a complete cop out, I will give another option, and I would say if I could do commentary and lead anybody, it would probably be Joe Bob Briggs, because I think that would be I don't think he would understand what the fuck was. I think he would get the basic concept of wrestling, like because like everybody's seen wrestling, so I think he would understand that it's like a physical contest. But he'd be like, "Why the fuck didn't he just try to win?" And I'd have to like walk him along, so it would be kind of a challenge for me to like tell the story and like keep him in check. But I also think it would just be incredible to get his genuine reactions to shit. So I'll say 3-man booth: me, Madden, and Joe Bob Briggs.
There you go. I like it, dude. I love it, dude. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We got room for one more, Nick, or what are we doing?
Throw it in, boss man.
All right. So this is going to be the hardest question I think you've ever been asked. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Oh God, here we go. Nick Gage, Effie, Matt Cardona. Fuck, marry, kill.
I think I'm going to marry Nick Gage. I'm going to fuck Effie, and I'm going to kill Matt Cardona.
Even though I did interview MLJ in a Matt Cardona shirt last week. Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
fully agree.
That rivalry, MLJ and Matt Cardona, is like,
Look,
there are some shots thrown.
The entire Matt Cardona in GCW arc
It's been
is
brilliant.
maybe my favorite thing in indie wrestling.
It's incredible.
Right now. I'm not even gonna lie.
I love how he's a company man now. I love it.
Yeah.
And the
The
fact that
GCW universe just
he's in an ECW.
I watched both the GCW shows last weekend and was just in love with the entire thing. Just Chelsea Green showing up. Now we're gonna get Chelsea Green versus Alley Catch too.
Man.
And can we get Alley Catch back to SUP Graps, please?
I would love that.
That would be sick as fuck.
I miss Allie a lot. She is one of my favorite people to randomly see because we have a lot of common ground outside of wrestling too. But I will say that I'm super excited to see more women's wrestling in GCW. I know that's something that a lot of people wanted. So seeing that now, like Chelsea Green and Allie is going to be really good. Didn't they just have Mercedes Martinez? Wasn't she just there and wrestled Allie?
Allie versus Mercedes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great that Allie is like. I'm not going to say it was intentional, but like kind of like GCW's gatekeeper for women's wrestling now. Now that they're finally able to bring in more women, I'm super excited to see what they do with Allie, and then with hopefully they build a really strong and healthy women's division, or not even a women's division. Hopefully they just bring in more women, and maybe we just have a shit ton of really cool intergender wrestling, or whatever. But it'll be really cool to see more, just an influx of women in GCW, and we're headed that way, which is awesome.
I love it, man. Well, we've hit the hour mark. This is usually when we try to close it up. So the way we always end the show, man, I'm gonna give you full screen. Let you, push the show, push your socials, whatever you want to say, man. If you just want to send a message to the people, feel free. But Jesse, man, it's been a pleasure to have you on.
Awesome, Andy. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys. It's been a blast. It didn't even feel like an hour, so that's awesome. SUP Graps coming up. Return show with fans. October 24th, Basement East, live on IWTV. This is the first time in, I want to say close. It's been over a month and a half, or a year and a half that we've had fans in that building. We went from a tornado tearing it down to COVID. Now we're finally back home. It's the night we come home to the Basement East, and I'm super excited for it. It's a stacked card. There's more matches that are going to be announced over the next coming days. Be sure to check it out. Like I said, it'll be live on IWTV. If you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter @RighteousJesse, Instagram @VHS Party Tonight. And I have 2 shows in December. I will be in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Actually, I got the dates mixed up. It'll be December 3rd, which is a Friday. I will be in New Jersey for ETU Wrestling. Expect the unexpected. Very excited for that. I'll be in the commentary booth. And then that Sunday, December 5th, I will be in Jeffersonville, Indiana for Billy Stark's birthday Christmas show. So very excited for that. Support independent wrestling. Support your favorite wrestlers. Buy their merch. And just focus on yourself. Don't sweat the things that you can't control. Enjoy life because it's really fucking short. Rest in peace, Shane Parker. You're my fucking boy. Yeah. I'm just really grateful to be able to do this. I appreciate you guys for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Our pleasure,
Dude, man. Thanks for being on. And Jesse, I'll be seeing you in 10 days at the Basement East, man.
Yes, sir. I'm
Can't
looking forward to it. We'll have
Take care.
Adding you on Twitter in like at 20 minutes.
Protect protect our boy Nick. He has a way of aggravating people.
I got him. I'll put a little square of tape on the floor, and I'll just be like, "Don't feed the animals."
That makes sense.
Just leave them be.
Just hand me an Angry Orchard, and I'll stay away from everybody. I'll just be happy.
I had an Angry Orchard for the first time in like 10 years last week, and holy shit, was it delicious!
Hey, I'll give you a recommendation. Do what I did the first time I met Nick. Pour a beer on him.
Yeah, an Angry Orchard nonetheless.
Yeah.
I want to
Okay.
hear that story one day, Matt.
We'll share an Angry Orchard one way or another.
Sounds like a plan, brother. I will see you in 10 days, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Cool
we
dude,
say
man.
this. We say this every week, dude. But what a cool dude.
Yeah, man. Great show. Looking forward to hanging out with that dude in 10 days, crushing some orchards, watching some good ass wrestling.
You lucky
yeah.
bastards. That's all I gotta say.
Dude, Southern Underground Pro True Believers, October 24th, live on IWTV, sponsored by ya boys, the Uncutt Podcast. We did that. We're going big time, boys.
Big time.
But speaking of big time, next week it's gonna be a lot more little squares on your YouTubes. It's gonna be a lot more voices coming through your Anchor and your Spotify and
Is there enough
your Apple
room, Nick?
Podcasts. I can't wait to see how this shit looks because I've never had this many people in a StreamYard at once.
You can have up to 10 now, right? We can do.
You can have up to 10. Yeah, we pay the extra money for up to 10. Because joining myself, Roberto, and Matthew, we're gonna have not one, not two, not three, but 4 members of the House of Wolves next week. That's going to be Zachy Monstar, Johnny Rudo, Draven Frost, and Ethan Carnage.
Are not
kidding me. You're shitting me. I was wondering it can't be that guy. So who's the fourth?
It's gonna be that guy.
Miracles happen, yo. I've honestly, I gotta say, I've had the opportunity to interview Ethan Carnage on 2 separate occasions, and he's a great interview. And Johnny Rudo, and I look forward to talking to Zach and Joey Casanova. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, man.
God, I love the Wolves a lot, as you guys know. And yeah, I'm sure we'll probably end up dabbling a little bit into my trip when I was in Florida the first time, not the second time, when I ended up taking a cab ride for over an hour to go see Joey because I wanted to see him before I flew back to Michigan too. So I paid for a cab ride to Punta Gorda and all the way back after a show.
Nice.
That's fucking friendship right there.
Bro, I love
I kind of want to hear about the second time now that you've made such a point that you don't want to talk about it.
What happened?
The second time was great, actually. Danielle and I went down, and we just saw the boys for like a night. Because we saw Zach at an ARW show. Johnny was busy that weekend. Jason had COVID, and I ended up seeing Joey again. And I went and saw Joey's new baby and all that. And they actually just moved. So Joey
they just moved 2 hours away from me.
Yeah,
so
over by you, bro.
So.
And also, fun fact for you before we all close up shop, I'm going to be down in your area not too far from now. For one night, I will be in your area.
That's all it took last time.
Yep, I know. I drove 2 hours out of my damn way to find your ass in damn Ville.
The ultimate line, where in the deliverance have you brought me? For anybody that thinks I just live in Nashville, no. I live in bumfuck, Tennessee.
Robbie, that was the first words I said when I got out of the car.
Where the fuck am I?
Where in the deliverance did you send me to? Hey.
All right, boys. So, for Robbie Miller, Matt Minnick, I am your boy, the A-Stick White. We'll see you next week with the House of Wolves. Then everybody can see me like in the background at True Believers on October 24th. Everybody have a great night. How many clicks is it, Robbie?
Let me think about that for just 1 second.
Okay, hold on.
1 and 2.
Oh my God, I hate you so fucking much.
Hit the button.
What a mouth breather.
Try to hit the button. Jesus God.